Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is on the Pommern, right? Pommern and Pommern B, they are the same ship, okay? Somebody asked for this build and play guide. Sorry, it's a little bit late. Trust me, when you guys request stuff, I do try to get to it along with Bismarck, right? Hopefully that will be out early next week for the people that are asking for the Bismarck guide. That being said, Pommern, I know it can be an underwhelming ship, right? I'm not saying it's an awesome ship. I like it. Uh, I don't think it's a great ship, but I like it. All right. Um, it's fun for me anyway. But I think I like every ship, so that's, you know, take that for what it is. Also, I happen to think it's the prettiest ship in the entire game. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this, and everything about Pommern says this is what a battleship should look like to me. I do like Iowa class too, don't get me wrong, but this feels like it's got kind of the fast battleship look to it, but also the dreadnought look. It's very classy. It's got classic, four turrets. I love this ship the way this looks. Now, I wish it played as well as it looks, but that's okay. Now, this is going to be a very unique guide because this ship is more unique than it gets credit for. Um, so right off the bat, we're going to show the full secondary build, which you're going to be using with like Celiax or Bismarck or Naomi. My personal choice is Bismarck, so we're going to showcase that with Von Hipper. Haruna is inspirations. A good day's work. Porcupine, Walrus, Master Mechanic, with Fight Fire with Fire. This perk, Walrus, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated perks in the game. With that and taking less fire damage, this also with having a damage cooldown, right? This becomes a much tankier ship than what it gets credit for, and the build as a whole, Bismarck, becomes a tanky build. Now, that being said, this build is going to be in our first match, and that play style is going. I will show you in our first match. We have two, okay. The first one will be Bismarck showcasing that, and you kind of got to play it like Carl Johan. These two ships play very similar, even though I know they're not the same ship, but their play style because of the play style they play very similar. All right. They are two of the toughest ships up close to play or to try to play against. All right, a Pommern in a Carl. If you're gonna rush them and they're a good player, now I'm not saying anybody can have bad players in these ships, and Pommerns and Carls definitely have bad players. But if you have a good player in that ship, these are probably the two hardest ships to rush in the entire game. Why is that? They have good armor up close. They have uh, torpedoes, and they have sonar and very good armor. All right, they are tough up close. Now, our second build is the one I recommend if you have it, and the second build is actually Hide. Okay, and I much recommend this, especially nowadays, is um, people are playing more at range. You got to get some stuff out of your main guns. You still secondaries are still going to be great. You guys are going to see this. This is the build I would recommend if you have it. Reason being is without it, these main guns on this ship are pretty bad. All right. I would love to say they're not, but they are terrible. They have like a 1.5 Sigma, and you really, just anything you can do help main guns. So, Hide with Haruna and Von Hipper. His base trait is Wrenchman for the extra health, and Flammable Cannoneer. So we're getting some grouping off of that and some range. Now you do take a risk of fire damage, but that's okay. With Porcupine, so we're still getting our secondaries boosted, along with a marksmanship and having Master Mechanic with Fight Fire with Fire. So we're boosting the main guns with two of our skills, and kind of going more the tanky secondary route with two of them as well. So very hybridy, and I can assure you This is a much, for me, in my opinion, a much more effective build for this ship because without it, the main guns are atrocious. For our upgrades, we're using the secondary main battery mod 2, along with prop and concealment, and the third slots as always. And for the last one, we're using the secondary main battery mod 3. Now, consumables. You have 5 pretty good heals. These are pretty good for German ships. Not super heals, but these are pretty good. All right. And you have 3 enhanced secondary targetings. Uh, and honestly, them are always going to come in handy in a secondary ship. Not really much to say about them. Also, you have 2 really, really solid sonars. These go out to 6 kilometers. Now they are shorter duration. They only last 60 seconds, but man, are these handy to have. All right, very handy to have, especially when you got a destroyer around. That being said, here is the specs. 86,000 health on this build. I think it's normally 81, but still a fair amount of health. And then you couple that with 5 good heals. If you are very if you are wise and patient with this ship, this is one of the absolute most tankiest ships in the entire game, in my opinion. I just think this thing is really within a player in the hands of a good player. This is a very, very tough ship to kill. That being said, you have you have 15 or 12 15-inch guns. And on this build, the range is 18.6, so you have relatively decent range, right? And we do not have like a booster on it, so you can see you can decent range, even with height on. No, the accuracy is Reload at 33 seconds, but remember you have 12 guns, so reload's not going to be good on them. Do not underestimate the HE on this ship. While it's not accurate, this ship has quarter pen, meaning it can pen 95 millimeters of armor. That is basically everything on a battleship but the belt. Okay? Now, so you're going to be able to pen everything, and the fire chance, well, not great. You have 12 guns. So when you hit something, probably going to start on fire for the most part. I actually use AP more in this thing, but it's so the ship can be a little bit inaccurate, obviously. So it not reliable. I'm not saying these main guns are great. What I'm saying is with using hide, they become somewhat usable. For your secondaries, okay, you have 16 105s that reload in 2.7 seconds, and these also do have the extra good pen. They're not quarter pen, but they do pen 20 millimeters of armor. So you're not going to get a ton of damage out of these, but they will hurt, destroyers and stuff like that in superstructure. Um, but, having 16 of them reloading, the fire chance is pretty good for every 2 seconds. Where your main damage comes from is these. You have 12 150s, okay? And these also have a little bit additional penetration. These actually pen 38 millimeters of armor, meaning they're penning a lot of stuff, actually, right? Um, and they reload every 6 seconds and have an 8% chance of fire. So, uh, you know, pretty good suite of secondaries, right? You have what, 30 of them, almost 30 of them, obviously. So, pretty solid. Um, and they're not bad. Especially if you're using Bismarck, these secondaries become pretty lethal. Or Nanomi, them secondaries become pretty lethal when they with the accuracy or the damage buffs. Torpedoes, you have a set of 4 on each side. Um, they're handy. I'm not saying you're going to dev strike everybody with them, but man, do these things come in handy, and do I hit people with them like a lot. So That being said, it is German and actually have a little bit of AA. Now, while it says 78%, or 78 as a number, you do have a chunk of it at 4 or 5, but a major portion of it's at 3. So you're going to shoot down planes. It's not atrocious, but for a German ship, it's not bad at all. Maneuverability, 31 knots. Turning circle is 940 in rudder. All of these are either average or below average, particularly at turning circle and rudder, because if you put yourself in a position with this ship, it is very hard to get out of it if you overextend. Like, make sure you play this like a dreadnought. Like, if you get into a position, that's why stop and go prop mod, very important for me on this ship for my playstyle. You want to get back if you can. You don't want to be turning around. So that's why the importance of the rudder is you'll be doing a lot of stopping and starting. And concealment's not good, right? Stats in this thing. You can see at the beginning, I was super aggressive with this thing. Way too aggressive and dying all the time. That being said, once I figured out to be patient with this thing, I have been very destructive with it. All right, when I first got Pommern, the original Pommern, it was awful. I died all the time. Worse than probably worse than this ship, to be honest. And I was terrible in it because I just pushed way too hard. You gotta let people push into you. The strength of this ship is getting people close to you. And I know it's a secondary ship, and you can say that about most secondary ships. But the strong suit of this ship, more than any other another in the game, in my opinion, the one last ship I want to push into is a Pommern or a Carl Johan. Them are like the two they just have so many weapons, right? They have the sonar, they have the torpedoes up close. Pommern, if you get close, these guns will hit in the AR-15. So you get close enough, these things will do damage, right? No matter what. And I just think that's its strength, and you got to let people push into you. You can't go chasing down everybody in this ship. It just will not work. You will die. That is one way to make this thing not tanky, is making yourself a target for everybody on the entire map. Armor. You can see here, this thing is got a ton of freaking armor on it, right? Outside of it having a big superstructure, only weakness this ship has, in my opinion. Like, this thing is armored to the teeth. 32 millimeter bow, but that doesn't matter because you have extended belt, right? Extended belt. Where is the side? There we go. You have a 60 and a 150 millimeter extended belt, meaning nothing in the game can get through that, overmatch it, right? And that extended belt right up the front here makes it so hard for people to try to overmatch that 32 when they're in Yamis. I know that sounds crazy, but this is one of the coolest little additions to a armor you're gonna see, and it protects you way more than you think, because when you take that right, when you put that on there and you see where this citadel is, right, and how protected that citadel is. Now pay attention to where that armor scheme is. That armor is covering your whole front of that citadel, and you are not, unless just crazy bad luck, you are never going to get citadel. You can bow tank even Yamis. All right. I know some people will disagree with that. Everybody's got their own opinion, but I have never had an issue. You guys are going to see it today too, in our match. Also, it does have a turtleback armor. I call this a half turtleback because the citadel isn't angled, but it doesn't matter. It's good. The citadel is low, and for the most part, pretty hard to citadel Pommern unless you're at range with an American battleship, in my opinion. So, like I said, this is a tanky ship. A couple things here quick before we move on that I skipped over a little bit. First of all, potential damage average now that I've been playing it better is 1.4 million damage. It means people are really trying to kill me, And recently it's been harder to do because I've been being patient. Also, my damage is coming up. Playing this smarter has definitely helped me out, not rushing in like an idiot. That being said, you can also see torpedo accuracy at 15%, pretty solid. And you can see there is a match there where I did shoot down like 26 planes. The first match, as you can see here, we are going to be in Mountain Range. And both of these matches are going to be against legendary tiers. Alright, so to say that this thing can't hold its own, given the right circumstances, here's your argument. Now, that being said, guys, I don't think this is a overly amazing ship, right? It took me, even a solid player, to adjust to the playstyle of the ship. And it is not an elegant one, right? This is not one where you can just be dumb and be willy-nilly. Not that you can really in any ship, but this one will get you in trouble real quick. My original Pommern stats, I think I have a 44,000 damage and a 26% win rate because I was so dumb in the ship and I hated it. Now, that being said, it probably does need a buff. This thing probably could use a buff to the secondary distance or maybe reload or dispersion, but accuracy. It needs something, in my opinion. I don't think it's awful. I just think it's subpar, right? The problem with it is you can't really control a match. You can control an area, but you can't really carry the team like you can in some other ships, right? It relies on people being dumb, right? This Yamato has no reason to charge me. I am the hard counter to a Yami, right? If you're going to put a hard counter up that's another battleship, a Yamato against the Pommern up close is not going to go well for the Yamato. It just isn't. If you put equally good players in both of them. Because obviously any player with a good any good player can win a battle against a bad player. But that being said, we're just letting this Yami eat all of our secondaries. Right? We're not charging in. We're holding the cap. We're controlling the middle of the map. We spawn middle, we stay there. Right? That's like, I think, my motto, I guess. But what we're going to do here is it's not going to be pretty. We got our sonar going to get this Z-52 spotted. And one thing this ship does excel at is getting rid of destroyers, right? The Z-52, you can see our main guns. We were lucky enough to hit 5 shells on him, get some damage. Also, our secondaries are doing some work. However, you're going to see in this match, this is the one with Bismarck. We are not relying on main guns at all. In fact, this match, we're only going to hit 28 shells. Okay? And to showcase what I mean, Yami 4 kilometers, this should be a dead Yami, right? But we don't kill him. But you can see we've been taking a beating. We've had destroyer throwing torps at us. We've had 2 ships shooting at us. Well, actually, I think 4, because I think Jinan has been 2. But we've been taking a lot of heat in the ship, and it's what it's good at, as long as you don't overextend. And you can see it. I'm thinking I have overextended a little bit now. Time to get back, and we're going to try to heal up. Right? Jinan, we think about taking a shot, but there's no reason to get us spotted for no reason. We got a health cooldown, or our repair party cooldown, and a heal cooldown. And we're trying to get them down a little bit here. Now Wisconsin comes charging in, and this is where the ship excels at. Right? This Wisconsin's coming in with full health. Most people would say Wisconsin, arguably the best battleship at tier 8 now. My opinion, it probably is, or very close. And I think it's a well thought out thing, or a well agreed upon thing. Now, he is not going to last long eating all my secondaries in these fires, right? Like, this is just not something you want to do. Again, I can't stress this enough. Pommern is a tough ship when in the hands of a good player, right? We're going to speed this up. He's going to go behind the island. I'm going to wait for another heal cooldown. and he's going to start to pull back out. And you're going to see here while he's doing that, I am just waiting, or letting my secondaries go off again. They're going to start hitting him again. As you can see, we get spotted. We're going to take a shot. Now, obviously, with Bismarck, our main guns are not great. But we do get a couple hits. And it's not like these guns are powerhouses anyway, right? These 15s at tier 8, they're a little underwhelming. But you do have 12 of them. And most of the times, you only can use your front set, which even limits your damage output even more. But again, this is not glorious, but this is how you really should play the ship to excel in it, right? And you can see, again, that destroyer is right there, getting ready to raise hex. So we know torps are coming. I am not going forward anymore. In fact, I am stopping and going in reverse. As you can see, there are the torps coming, right? Again, we're in a pretty good position. We're still taking damage. And again, we're going to get our heal back. And we have, like I said, outside of probably BA Montana, because everybody loves to shoot me in that thing, I think this is my highest average potential damage against me. Meaning every match I go into, people are trying to kill this thing. Alright, and then they were successful until very recently, where I've become a lot harder to kill on this ship. I am pretty tough to kill on this ship unless I'm dumb and eat a bunch of torps. Even though I have a sonar, sometimes that happens. So, we're going to go push up, get this cap, and in the meantime, we're going to speed this up because the destroyer is just running away trying to get cap points, and I want my revenge on him. So, I kind of have an idea where he is, so we're going to do our best to dodge all the torps that we can and try to get him. And we're going to go ahead and go for this cap here as well. He is going to hit us here again with 2 torps here at the very end. Would be nice to have another sonar on this thing. We do get the cap, and he starts shooting, I think, to try to reset the cap, but he was too late. And we are going to go ahead and murder him, as he does in fact get us at the very end there. But you can see a solid match. We didn't have not much hits with our main guns, 28, right? And we were really close up and personal with some ships, and we only hit 28 shells, guys. That being said, this match is with Hyde, and we are at Warrior's Path. And you're going to see a little bit more effectiveness with our main guns. Now, I'm not saying these are laser beams or accurate, okay? What I'm saying is with Hyde, we're getting more out of our guns. Don't twist my words. We're going to throw a couple shells down range at a Brisbane, and we're actually going to hit him with 1 shell. To be fair, that's probably better than what we would have done without building into our accuracy at all. We can see secondaries going off. Now, I don't use my secondary booster here. Probably should have in retrospect. I didn't know if he was going to get spotted long enough to or not. Also, on the enemy team, there is a very good player in the Hindenburg, and I know that, and you're going to see me keep an eye on him. And there is a Carl. So in this match, we get to see showcase the 2 really good ships that are good up close. These 2 ships, in my opinion, some of the best in the entire game at close quarters combat, right? Also, that Wisconsin on the other side of the map, I'm going to check what he is. He's got a Sims build at 12. So just once in a while, I'll check a ship. When you can see, we're kind of keeping an eye on Hindenburg, and we're not going to push into this Carl. Whoever pushes first is always going to, if they're 2 good players, whoever pushes first is going to lose his battle. Alright? In my opinion, Carl and Pommern, 2 really tough ships, and they're a good fight for each other. I think Carl is the same way. If you use Carl correctly, just like that Njord, where I showed that really crazy game of being very careful in it and just ruining an enemy team up close. Same thing can happen with Carl, right? And Pommern. Now, we're not going to have too many people get close to us in this match, but you're going to see we're still going to be effective, even at legendary tier here. As you can see, both matches we were bottom tier. Kind of always happens in tier 8. And we are going to go ahead and take some shots downrange. And you see, oh, look at that. We're actually hitting shells now. What? That was half of our shells hitting at range? That's absolutely crazy. It's a Pommern. It's 1.5 Sigma. This thing shouldn't even be able to hit that mountain. Alright, like I said, guys, let's not get crazy. These main guns aren't great. But you can see already the difference with the main guns here being a little bit better. And Hindenburg here is coming out. And we are trying to go ahead and hit him. Because that is a solid player that is from a solid fleet. And that is a big threat. Now I'm trying to I want to get over there to actually take that side on, because I know our right side is winning, left side is the one that is having a rough go, and there is a very good player over there probably terrorizing the enemy team, right? So, but I cannot do that with a Carl waiting for me to pop out. Like, that is what he's doing. You can see he's playing his ship most part for pretty well. But I can assure you, everybody gets impatient over some time. And all you got to do is wait and play the good game here, right? I'm asking for help because we are definitely winning that other side flank. If I could get some help on Carl, you know, while he's here, if he goes unspotted, I can always use my sonar to spot him. For our team to get him spotted, and cruisers should be just able to, you know, light fires on him like crazy while he's sitting there, and eventually he'll get annoyed, right, and do something dumb. Even good players do it like me. I can only sit so long sometimes, although I am learning to be much more patient. As you can see, we hit 4 more shells, and sure enough, Carl gets impatient and throws out torps. Now we know what's coming here, so we're going to be careful. And we're going to try to eat as little amount of torps as we can. But, like I said, up close, Carl is really tough. And he does get a bunch of them on me, even being as skinny as I possibly could be. So we're going to throw out some torps at him. Return the old favor. And because he's the one that extended, he is at the disadvantage now. And you guys are going to see this, because he did get a good hit off on the start off me. Kind of catching me a little bit off guard coming around that corner. We kind of knew he was going to do it. But we're going to back off, because we know he's going to try to throw off that other set of torps. It's just in the nature of a Carl. That's its strength. And we're not going to let him do that. We're going to back off so we can't get the angle to really torp us. And we're going to go ahead and now... he is understanding that he is now in a bad position. So now we can actually keep up to him, right? We got the left side of the island to protect us. We're going to let our secondaries do work. As you can see, he's just eating a bunch of secondaries now. And his guns are doing nothing because we are angled and properly positioned. So we're going to shoot the superstructure. We're going to get a little bit of a chunk there, and we get a fire. And this is where the battle is going to be won by the Pommern. Like I said, whoever charges first puts themselves in a bad position long term, right? And at this point, he basically knows he's going down, and you can tell he is throwing a set of torps out right now, right? That's what he's doing. He wouldn't go that broadside. Unless you know you were going down, as we get a close quarters on him, and we do have to use our repair because we are running out of health. And again, but we know them torpedoes are quick. They get here, we don't get a flood because of it, and we are actually going to speed up here to the next part. Now, defense has moved up into a position here, not ideal for him. But we're just going to let our secondaries go to work. He is going to smoke up and actually be smart and not shoot his guns off right away. So he's actually going to stay hidden for a while. But there is there is a Wisconsin charging for the second time over on this side, and he is going to eat a significant amount of torps. Or, I mean, secondaries here. We're going to use our secondary booster. He is actually going to get a couple shells to hit us and do some damage. We're just going to use our rear guns on him because if my thought process here is if the defense shows up again, that will make it so I have two guns ready for him, and I'm still angled to Wisconsin, right? Like, that's a big problem. If you get all your guns on target, you can get chunked. Like, these aren't terrible firing angles as we get our high caliber. But, you know, if you're not careful, right, you can get yourself in a pretty bad position. As you can see here, we're going to actually hit a bunch of our shells here. Half of them. So that's always a good thing in a Pommern. And as you can see, we do end up helping take him down, both people, and as you see, the match is basically over. There is a Dalian that hasn't been spotted, but our teammates do know where he is. So we're going to actually head up there, and you're going to see he's going to get spotted, and I'm going to showcase here another shot here at the very end. He is been sitting in smoke, and he has not been spotted yet the entire match. As you can see, he has all his health too. And even at range here, because we do have 18.6 range, you're going to see we're going to take a shot here. Now keep in mind, when I shoot this, Mountain eats a bunch of these shells, obviously. But still, at range, we're going to go ahead, and you're going to see here three shells hit a Dalian, which is a pretty small ship, right? But one of the smallest cruisers you can run across. Not saying that we're a sniper now, but just saying the main guns are effective. Or more effective. Anyway, as you guys can see, we definitely clearly helped our team win. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you folks next time.